Okay, so today I'm going to be ranking every single Minecraft version starting from 1.0 all the way to the latest 1.21. I'm not going to be including subversions like 1.1.12 or something. That's not a real version, but you get the point. I'm not going to be including some subversions. I'm just going to do every single major update from 1.0 all the way to 1.21. If you aren't subscribed already, you should probably subscribe. You know, I got only like 2 subs, so subscribe. Okay, starting with 1.0. 1.0 was the adventure update, and it added the end, the Ender Dragon, Enderman, strongholds, enchanting potions, potions and brewing, experience, villages and villagers, animal breeding, the Nether Fortress, and a few new blocks. Also, it added snow golems and hardcore mode. I think this is a pretty good update and added some useful features. I don't have any real problems with this update. I think this was a great update and informed the way Minecraft is now by changing it from just a sandbox survival game into a whole adventure game as well. Next up we have Minecraft 1.1, which didn't really add anything. It had spawn eggs and super flat, as well as adding new languages and enchantments. Honestly, overall, I think this update was kind of pointless. It didn't add anything that interesting besides spawn eggs, which are pretty important, but it wasn't really like an important update at all, and I feel like it should have been added in 1.0. Anyway, on to 1.2, which added jungle biomes, ocelots, iron golems, and doubled the world height. I think that was a pretty good update, especially the doubling of the world height for bigger builds. And also cats are adorable, and the iron golems give us iron off spawn, so it's a great update, and I'll give it a solid B tier or an A tier. Minecraft 1.3 has a little bit of controversy. Okay, editing me interrupting, I just want to say, I found out that people made a Minecraft 1.3 update song, so I'm just gonna play the update song for you and then give my review.
We're in the Minecraft 1.3, different stairs and slabs depending on the tree, so those gifted minds can get to work. The new creative inventory is a real perk.
The pick block tool works a whole lot better with a book and quill, write your friend a letter. The new gravel texture's looking real fine, and now you gain EMP when you smelt and mine.
Did you see that new block? It's Emerald Ore. Trade it with villagers just like a real store, but finding emeralds is not so simple. You can find it.
Alright, that's enough of that, but back to the video. Although it added villager trading, desert pyramids, jungle temples, book and quills, tripwires, ender chests, cocoa beans, it also had one horrible feature that people hated. It merged the single player and the multiplayer code, meaning every time you started a single player world, it would be running off of a hidden server, making you lag in your own single player game.
Single player lag is very lame. Here we have a cow. I want to kill it, but I get teleported back in time, and I have to go back and try again. See that in slow motion. Are you ready? I break the block, go to the cow, do a little choppy chop, and nothing happens, and I realize I'm lagging in single player, and then I can teleport it back in time. Do you know what I hate? Having multiplayer lag when playing single player.
And that's why people hated this update, but other than that, I think it's a pretty good update and added really important features. But I wouldn't put it at B or A tier since the multiplayer feature, so I'll give it a solid C tier. The next update we have is the 1.4 update, which was the pretty scary update. Minecraft 1.4 didn't really add anything that important, but let's move over to Minecraft 1.4.2 because that was the major release of the pretty scary update, which added the Wither, our boy the Wither, and also added witches, bats, zombie villagers, and wither skeletons. It also added carrots on sticks for riding pigs, and new decoration items, like item frames, flower pots, and cobblestone walls. It also gave us potatoes and carrots, and the beacon. I think it's a great update and added a lot of cool features, and that's why I'm giving it a good fat S tier. It's a great update. It didn't ruin anything, it didn't add anything boring, it got us an entire new boss, but it wasn't too big, it didn't change the game too much. It's a great update, it's that perfect middle ground. So the 1.5 update was the redstone update, which added a few very important items. It added the activator rail, the redstone block, the daylight sensor, the dropper, the hopper, the redstone comparator, the trap chest, the pressure plates, the weighted pressure plates as well, the block of quartz items, added multiple snow heights, and added nether brick. This is an amazing update because of the redstone. Without these features, we wouldn't have many of the redstone builds we have today. S tier. The 1.6 update added horses and name tags, and that's kind of it. I mean, it added like the donkey and the mule, but it's like, okay. I mean, B tier, sure. The 1.7 update. The 1.7 update changed the world generation of Minecraft and added the new savanna biome, but other than that, it wasn't that big of an update. A lot of people like the old world generation, however a lot of people like the new world generation, so it's kind of split. But honestly, I like the new world generation better. I think, especially after Caves and Cliffs, they really improved the world generation. Overall, a pretty good update. I'd give it a C tier. Now on to the 1.8 update, and this update is pretty much only important because it's the latest update before one of the most controversial updates in Minecraft history, which we'll get to soon. But the 1.8 update added ocean monuments, guardians, prismarines, and new blocks. It's also the version that everyone plays Hypixel on. It's a great version, and I'd give it an S tier because it's the best version before 1.9. But now let's talk about 1.9. 1.9 was the combat update. I think everyone remembers 1.9. Before, Minecraft was spam clicking, but after this update you had to time your hits and use shields and use swords and all of this, and it changed the way damage worked completely and changed Minecraft servers forever. And a lot of people hated this update. This is probably the most hated update of all of Minecraft. People despise 1.9. However, I don't actually hate 1.9. Although I have my gripes with it, I think it's honestly a good update, but it does have some big glaring problems with it. And mainly, the biggest problem is that beginner players who booted up Minecraft and tried to kill mobs had no tutorial. The Minecraft 1.9 update didn't give people a tutorial on how to use it. It didn't explain the mechanics to new players. So people just started spam clicking mobs and were dealing no damage in 1.9. I honestly think Mojang should have taken into consideration the fact that new players would have no idea how to use this. Without a tutorial, it was horrible. And that's why a lot of servers, specifically, you know, the biggest server on Minecraft, Hypixel, stayed on 1.8 and never updated. To this day, Hypixel is still on 1.8. The 1.10 update was the Frostburn update, which added polar bears and magma and the snow biome. Yeah, I don't give a shit about this update. I had nothing interesting. It's honestly a D tier. The 1.11 update added woodland mansions, llamas, and exploration-based content. So honestly, it was a good update. That's all I'll leave it at. It was a good update. I mean, I have no gripes with this update. It added good features. Nothing major change except for a cool new feature. You know, just a cool. No, the worst part of this update is that it had totems of undying. Okay, totems of undying are cool and all, but I think they're way too overpowered. They're too overpowered and people could just farm totems. And honestly, it made hardcore mode just easy. Like, people nowadays playing their hardcore worlds just have a farm of totems and they just like kill themselves every 5 seconds, but they don't die. And it's too overpowered in my opinion. Honestly, it's a cool update. Okay, let's talk about the 1.12 update, which 1.12 is important because it is pretty much the version that supports the most mods. And what I mean by that is, like, most great Forge mods for some reason are hosted on 1.12. 1.12 is just the go-to version for mods. I don't know why. 1.12 was one of the most popular versions to mod on for some reason, and it's probably the most beloved version of Minecraft. Now, a lot of people think 1.14 was the aquatic update, but actually 1.13 was the aquatic update, and I didn't even know that. I don't know why I didn't know that. I always thought it was 1.14. But 1.13 was the aquatic update. You know, the aquatic update fixed water. I'll be honest, if you wanted to go through an ocean before 1.13, it was annoying. It was the worst thing ever. It was horrible. Just holding spacebar and like floating in a giant ocean. Horrible. It made water swimmable. It added physics. It added underwater structures, new aquatic mobs. It's a great update, and honestly, S tier. The 1.14 update was one of the greatest updates in Minecraft history. It overhauled the villager professions and added pillagers, new blocks, raids, and new village styles. And it fixed trading because before it was kind of dog shit, but now it's good. This is also an S tier. 1.15, I hate this update. It was stupid and it's D tier. All it added was bees and bee related blocks that I don't think I've ever used besides the honey block. Kind of a really pointless update. I mean, like, it's stupid. Like, why do we need a whole update for one mob? 1.16 was the nether update and added new nether biomes: piglins, basalt, soul sand, ancient debris, netherite, hoglins, and zoglins. I think this is a great update, honestly. It fixed the nether, because before the nether was just boring. I mean, you go in there, get your blaze rods, and then leave. There was no point of the nether. There was no reason to stay there besides traveling more than 7 blocks in the overworld. But with this update, it fixed the nether and made it more interesting to explore and go in. I'm going to give this an A tier. Anyway, let's move on to 1.17. 1.17 was the first part of the Caves and Cliffs update. Why are there 2 parts of an update? You're a multi-billion-dollar company. Just release the fucking update in one part. It added new blocks like copper and amethyst, and a few new mobs like the axolotl and the goat, and it added dripstone for, you know, cool traps. But it's just like, why did you... The second part of this is so much better. Why did you not just release this as one version? But anyway, why would you want to have one version that has a bunch of features and one version that's like missing half the cool features? So this is why I'll give 1.17 a C tier. However, 1.18, the second part of this update, added really cool features. Like how it overhauled the world generation, added taller mountains, deeper and new mountain biomes, which was a great features, all around a great update. I'm gonna give 1.18 an A tier. Now 1.19 added the deep dark, the warden, and frogs, which I don't really remember like frogs at all. I didn't frog is even in the game. Yeah, I guess it added frogs. I don't think I've ever seen a frog like ever in Minecraft. Like, I saw that trailer thing, but I've never actually like used the frogs in Minecraft. But honestly, the reason I'm gonna give this update a C tier is because the warden was kind of pointless. I mean, it doesn't add anything to the core gameplay. It's just like a new boss. I mean, yeah, it's a cool OP boss, but it doesn't really fit the game either. If they're gonna add a boss that has all these animations, they should have overhauled the Wither. They should have overhauled the Wither and the Ender Dragon before adding the Warden, because the Warden looks way out of place compared to the Ender Dragon and the Wither. The Warden has full-on animations and moves around like an animatronic, and the Wither and the Ender Dragon have just like static animations. It just doesn't fit Minecraft, and honestly, I'm gonna give this a C tier, and that's why. The 1.20 update added archaeology, the cherry grove biome, the sniffer, the camel, armor trims, hanging signs, and some decorative stuff. Not really that interesting, so I'm gonna give this a C tier as well. The 1.21 update added the mace, trial chambers, breeze, the wind charge mechanic, and new music discs. This was a great update. However, I do have my problems with it. One being, the music discs that they added do not fit the game whatsoever. Why do we need a lava chicken music disc that doesn't fit the game at all? And however, the mace is really cool. I love the mace. It's a great feature, and I think it's a good combat game mode as well. So 1.21, I will give a solid B tier, although I do have my gripes with it. So that's every single version of Minecraft fully ranked. I hope you enjoyed, and if you disagree with me, leave a comment. If you don't disagree with me, like the video and subscribe, because I only have like 2 subscribers. As well as I stream on Twitch. Go check that out. I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/itsjamzy. Tune in to my stream. It's linked in the description. Also, you can buy me a gift card in the description. Click the throne link to buy me a cool gift card or some like nonsense. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.